Halo put out a new post over this weekend that is blowing up. They announced a new Dawn. They are essentially switching over to Unreal Engine 5 for Halo, which is a pretty massive change. Actually, Unreal just had another update for 5.5. I kind of want to watch the information they dropped for that, but the realism of this engine is going insane. The ease of development on this clearly has been a big project. They just recently released like a third-person mode as well, but they're doing a big shift. On top of 343 is no longer going to be a thing, but it's not quite what you might hope of 343 shutting down and a different studio taking this over. It's going to be 343 is just getting renamed to Halo Studios was the other element of it. But anyways, their note was, we're entering the next chapter of the franchise and changing the recipe for how we even make Halo games. Go behind the scenes of the project Foundry to explore the creative potential for Halo on Unreal Engine 5. This is the video they put out, though. I haven't watched this yet. We'll look at this, and then we'll look at some of the comments.
Casey Wu, take one. Mark.
Hear from them
I
themselves.
was told that I can just be my authentic self, Chris.
For 6 years, I don't want to be in front of a camera.
There's so much to do and so much fun to be had when you play Halo that I feel like I never run out of things to do.
I love intricate stories that take place across lots of different worlds, have lots of different meaningful characters.
What made Halo successful at the beginning? What is
Bungie?
the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's the craft of making Halo
Maybe I'm
games?
trolling too hard.
And how do we set our studio at best to go deliver on that?
We knew we had to make a change in order to take us into the future.
When
Halo
I first heard
2
about
and 3
Halo
were
moving
so
to Unreal Engine, my
good.
first thought was, this is going to be a really hard secret to keep.
I think fans
They were
are
so
going to
good.
be excited about the future of Halo because of the possibilities that are afforded us by using Unreal.
Before, we really had to split our focus in thinking about building an engine, supporting it, being really kind of a tech company and a studio at the same time. Since we've made the change to shift to UE, we can bring Halo forward in ways that people have never seen before while still being true to what Halo is.
The Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5.
New studio art director, Chris, came to me and said, hey, I have this crazy idea.
He said, hey, there's this thing called Project Foundry that I want to do. Let's make it happen.
Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry in Halo lore. It's the place where Halo rings are born.
Unreal Engine does look so good, though.
It's a research project for our studio so we can prepare ourselves for the next steps of making Halo games.
The original Halo franchise was a graphics showcase. It was best in class. That's what Halo was when it first was released, and that's what Halo needs to be again.
Yeah. I think their engine was pretty good.
So once
it was
Project
pretty
Foundry had
smooth
been
whenever we played it.
approved, we took the entire creative team and we ideated on 3 locations, something old, something new, and something really alien.
We had the Pacific Northwest, which is sort of traditional Halo biome.
We were trying to shove
Yeah,
as much
shout out Pacific
foliage
Northwest.
in there as humanly possible to make it really feel like you're on a hike in the, Cascades.
The Cold Lands, which was the second biome that we took on, it was more of a technical showcase where we could play with shaders, we could play with deformable landscapes and terrains. Unreal affords us more opportunity than we've ever had in the past.
On the surface, it might just look all like snow, but how many layers of things combine to really give that winter look?
And then our third biome was the Blightlands, which is any land that's been completely taken over by the flood.
I wanted to give our team the opportunity to really express an alien world, a really alien world, taking something way further than they may have actually done in previous Halo games.
What's impressed me about watching the Halo
Now
team
they have
work in
no
Unreal
excuses.
is how beautiful everything
Right?
looks, how incredible the environments look. I don't think we've seen anything quite like it in Unreal Engine before.
Fortunately, we have a studio that's really passionate about Halo, about the look and the feel, and I think there's a lot of hunger to really collaborate, to move forward together.
Foundry was an initiative that touched on every part of the creative process, everything from concept art, VFX, characters, vehicles, and weapons to make the future games of Halo.
Creating an asset, taking this design, now we can really dig into material foundations.
Because they don't need to make the engine anymore.
How is it physically accurate to the world? Now we get to take all the wonderful legacy assets that we have, bring them to life,
I'll read that in
and
a
bring
sec.
them to today's standards.
We are really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio.
As a lifelong Halo player, I think the game's only going to get better when we get those new, unique perspectives and people bring in their expertise.
Well, they need
and,
Unreal developers now,
passion
right?
For the Halo franchise.
We are looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on kind of get further and further into their development cycles.
And it is great to be part of a team that's growing because you can kind of see that force multiplied as people come in and take on challenges and you can do more.
Imagine a place where you have the commitment that this is what we want to do, Halo games, and create those experiences. And you can express your talent, your creativity, and your professional ambitions in that place.
Dude, I would love it if
We're looking
Halo
for
was good
artists,
again.
We're looking
Oh my
for
gosh.
engineers.
It feels like a new beginning for the studio in a lot of ways, and I think that's pretty rare.
And I think we arrived now at a point where you see the beginnings of people to start to believe in the process.
There's so much momentum that we have right now and focus and clarity on not just what we're building, but why we're building and kind of this next phase of Halo.
The worlds that we're building, the stories that we're going after.
The potential at Halo right now is huge.
Halo Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we are doing right now, we're changing that recipe.
See, they're changing the recipe, and this is what I read in an article or whatever info about it as well, is that was Halo Infinite was the last of the old Halo. They're not doing the old Halo anymore. This is a new Bungie feel for it. I don't think they're going back to the old anymore. I think they're done with it. This is the nail in the coffin on Halo. 343 tried so many times to bring this back. Now 343 is gone. Technically, actually, it's the exact same thing, but they just renamed the studio to Halo Studios. And now they're going to try something different. Like we already saw third person kind of implemented in this. They're going to have to clearly change how they're developing onto the Unreal Engine. I would love it if Halo was good. But the thing is, if they don't have to do all the tech stuff of creating the actual engine itself and the mechanics for it, and they could just rely on Unreal, then that to me, and they're expanding the team, that to me means that they could just focus on making a really good game. But to the point of even what she was saying, like, oh, we have different, we're pushing the stories, we have this new chapter that they're essentially doing with it. Like there's not even an excuse at that point. Like we got to have a done game when this thing eventually comes out of whatever. If it's going to be another Halo, I don't know if they're going to update it for Halo Infinite. It sounds like they're going with a completely new game. There's going to be some new Halo game from Halo Studios, because Halo 2, when that came out, it was pushing the absolute front of gaming with online. Halo 3 with the Forge, with everything that they dropped, they pushed the absolute limit of that. And now we're not even close to the front line of anything new or different. It was pretty cool. It was pretty polished. Like when Halo Infinite came out, it was a very polished game. Even now, if I went back and played like the Forge and custom games that we did, we went back and played it as a community for some community days because it was free to play as well. They did some good stuff. But one of the comments was just because you can render a video in Unreal doesn't mean that it's going to actually be good. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to draft these things up, but I think this is the concept art. Just like Battlefield released its concept art, which is just a picture, this is the concept art within the actual game and showing the beauty of what Unreal Engine 5 does. I think a lot of people still haven't seen that, or they just have heard of Unreal Engine, but they don't, you don't know how that's necessarily going to look for this. And a lot of these assets look very good. But to even the point of, we haven't even seen anything this good in Unreal, we've seen a lot that's this good in Unreal. There's a lot of really good stuff now. So that's what I'm saying is like, if you've got that big of a team and now you've already got this set up for you, you already have all the tools, then that means we need like a massive sick game out of all of the tools and everything that we have. Please. Honestly, I did enjoy Infinite. I loved how Chief was given more emotion in his character, and it made him feel more real as well. I thought the campaign was all right. I didn't like the open world aspect of it personally. And I think even with that aspect, they already have been pushing and doing new things with, that open world campaign. What made that game so cool, and I get it, like, oh yeah, people don't play split screen, whatever anymore, but there are some people that do, and that's what brings in new players. When you play a really fun campaign and a good story, or you can play, when you got some brothers together playing the next generation of gamers to get in and make a sick game. Like, you need that. You need some experiences like it. So anyways, that's the recap. I'm excited for it. We'll see where it goes. I mean, shoot. This could be pretty good. Number 9 on trending. Not going to lie, it's hilarious knowing that they changed the studio name because they needed to specify we are not that studio that everybody hates anymore. Yeah, it's so true, though. It's so true. Just get the physics right. I want to see ghosts go flying when they get hit by a gravity hammer. I want to see a building explosion followed by debris showering the battlefield when I hit a phantom. You have to nail the feel of Halo before you do anything else. And that's what, like, if you're using the Unreal Engine 5, how much can you really... I mean, they had to recreate the engine to a degree with whatever that they were on before, right? I don't think it was an extension of what Bungie was using, although maybe it was. But it felt very good. Of course, they had sliding, they had mantling, they had a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily original Halo, which I think is still probably for the best, them going and actually expanding on the game, doing something different. The new name suits you, but it cannot hide that mark. Nothing ever will. I get the vibe that none of these people grew up playing Halo. Yeah, they probably did, actually. Halo was never just... But the thing is, they were the people that probably grew up playing it, not the people actually creating it. All those guys, they look like they're about my age, so they probably were. Halo was never just a graphics showcase. No, it wasn't. And actually, that was something they mentioned at the beginning. Like, they were pushing the graphics. Even back then, I don't think the graphics were, like, groundbreaking. They were good, but I don't think I was like, oh, this is the most insane graphical masterpiece. I don't think that was ever why I played Halo personally. There was some definitely good shots, especially in the campaign. And the scale of the battle was pretty cool, like with the scarabs crawling around the map and you're trying to deal with all the brutes, and like, that was epic. It was a passion project motivated by a desire to make something fun to play. That's why even the original Halo Combat Evolved still holds up today despite the outdated graphics. If this future Unreal Halo isn't fun, the updated graphics and easier tools won't mean a thing. I think the thing that leaves me optimistic is that they're not going to have to worry about the development of all of those other things. So maybe they can make a battle pass that isn't complete ass this time. Maybe they can find another way to monetize the game where you can still customize your character. Like, that's one of the coolest things about Space Marines 2. You can customize your character really well in that game and have it almost like what it was in Halo back in the day, to just have your custom character, your custom Spartan. Now it costs so much money to even just change your color. It was ridiculous. They might have made it better now. I'm not sure. Finish the game before launch, please. To the same extent. Like, if you already have all this, they have zero excuse to leave an undeveloped game at this point. Because they're not, like, they're boasting about how much better Unreal is than their current one. And it probably is better. And it's more well-known to where they can... Now they're going to be hiring more people. They can hire people who actually know how to build on Unreal. Fingers crossed. All I hope now is that the new recipe includes a full campaign with split screen. Yeah, like this is what I mean. There's no excuse not to have it, right? Different biomes, yep. A full multiplayer with proper ranking system, yep. Good sandbox. Like, this is the core element. Maybe not the actual gameplay itself, but all the other stuff that supplements it. A good sandbox with long-forgotten weapons, which we all missed from Infinite. Even at the beginning of Infinite, we didn't even have, like, basic modes, let alone all the weapons. They've added a lot now, but... even still, please, not a store, no changes for the sake of... changes for the sake of chaining things in certain multiplayer modes, changing things maybe. I think we're gonna see a massive this is not gonna be this is what I think is gonna be the biggest thing that pisses everybody off. This is my prediction of when this game does come out, whatever the next one is that it's not gonna be Halo anymore. They're gonna do something that's more like Fortnite, maybe Battle Royale, whatever, and everybody's gonna be like, no, you guys, we wanted Halo. We didn't want this thing that's not Halo, but they're clearly not doing Halo anymore. They're just going to use the IP for whatever the next thing is. And that's going to be what pisses everybody off, because I at least that's what I understood from the other article I read in this final line,
of Halo.
right?
The worlds that we're building
is huge.
Halo Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we're doing right now, we're changing that recipe.
That was our recipe. We're changing our recipe. The next chapter of the franchise is changing the recipe for how we make Halo games. Is that just purely the foundation of the engine, or is that the overall game loop as well? I have a hunch it's going to be the game loop as well. They need to make something that's like newly innovative and pushing the limit, which I don't know. Maybe they can do that within Unreal. Everybody's trying to build a game with Unreal. So I don't know how you do something that's super different and unique on the same engine that pretty much everybody else is using. No matter what, this is something that I put somewhere else. Halo is big enough, even though, I mean, we're reading the comments here. Everybody's like, oh yeah, thank goodness, get rid of 343. Just because you change your name from 343, people still know it's you guys, whatever. Right? These guys are not well liked for understandable reasons here. It's now going to be Halo Studios. Halo is too big. It is so big that there is 100% going to be an audience that will look at this, similar to Battlefield. When that comes out, people, as much as they hate it, they will look at it. The one thing that will work is if it is a good game. If it is a good game that they come out with, people will actually play it. But that's all that matters. They're going to have the free marketing with that because it's Halo, though. It is built in. They have too good of a reputation, I should say Bungie does, from the past, that has built this name up. But a lot of people don't even realize that it's not Bungie that's developing this game anymore from those old Halos. Of course, we have a couple of new games coming for Bungie as well. Destiny's been very big. Marathon seems like it's going to be their next big push of whatever it is that's going to be, apparently an extraction shooter. That seems to have been going through some turbulence as well from leaks and reports that we've seen for it. That's what, like, I'm more excited for that and whatever that's going to be. Obviously, I've been very big into the extraction shooters as well. I cannot imagine. You know what, though? Yeah, I can't imagine Halo goes into extraction shooters. That would be, what are you even thinking at that point? So yeah, I guess the other avenue that is a change of formula. I think you're right, Mark. Maybe it is they go into Battle Royale and try and contest there. But now, how late are they going to be to that game? Because now we're already going to be, at least theoretically, getting a Battlefield free-to-play Warzone-esque mode coming next year. So now what are we going to have? The triple Battle Royale games fighting it out when so many people are already tired of Battle Royales? What do you do that's different? What's the new concept that's going to be crazy, fun, accessible, playable? I don't know. They were so close with Infinite. They obviously didn't have a lot there, but the hype for that game was so insane. Tough.